There's a strange stillness that appears right before a confession, not silence, but awareness. You feel it when conversations slow down, when their eyes hesitate longer than usual, when words almost come out and then don't. And suddenly, your intuition starts speaking louder than logic. You didn't imagine this. You didn't overthink it. You felt it, because before someone confesses, they emotionally arrive first. They rehearse the moment in their head. They fight it. They fear it. They almost say it 100 times, just not out loud. And if you're here right now, it's because something inside you already knows. A truth you thought would never be spoken is preparing to step out of the shadows. One, the silence that was never empty. There is a kind of silence that doesn't mean absence, it means containment. This is the silence that appears when someone is holding back a truth that has grown too heavy to ignore. They didn't stop talking because they stopped caring. They stopped because the words started to carry consequences. At first, their feelings were manageable. A quiet fondness, a subtle curiosity, something they believed would fade on its own. But emotions don't ask permission before deepening. They evolve while logic sleeps. This is where the inner conflict began. They noticed how your presence lingered in their mind longer than expected, how your absence felt louder than it should, how conversations replayed themselves long after they ended. These weren't signs they planned for. They were disruptions, so they chose restraint. Not because they didn't want you to know, but because they weren't sure they could survive the outcome of you knowing. When emotions reach this level, confession becomes a risk, not a release. Speaking the truth means surrendering control over how the connection will continue. Silence, ironically, feels safer. Your intuition felt this shift because emotional energy always moves before behavior changes. You sensed the pauses, the hesitation, the unspoken awareness between sentences. This wasn't imagination. This was emotional containment. They began measuring their words, watching your reactions, testing emotional safety without ever naming what they were testing. Their silence wasn't emptiness. It was preparation. And deep down, they hoped you felt it too, because the scariest part of confession isn't rejection. It's discovering that what felt intense to them might have been invisible to you. That fear kept them quiet, but silence like this was never meant to last. 2. The emotional leakage before a confession. Before a confession is spoken, it starts leaking through behavior. No one can completely hide a feeling that has crossed the threshold from attraction into attachment. It escapes in subtle, uncontrollable ways. They start noticing things they never paid attention to before. The tone of your voice, the timing of your replies, the emotional weight behind your words. Suddenly, small details feel important, not because they matter logically, but because you matter emotionally. You may have felt them become more attentive, then suddenly withdrawn, more open one day, strangely guarded the next. This isn't inconsistency, it's emotional pressure fluctuating inside them. Every time they consider confessing, fear interrupts. Every time fear wins, the feeling doesn't disappear. It intensifies, so it leaks. Through longer eye contact, through concern that feels deeper than the situation requires, through emotional protectiveness that hasn't been defined. Your intuition picked up on this because humans are wired to sense emotional shifts before understanding them. You felt the tension not as anxiety, but as anticipation. This is why things feel charged lately, not uncomfortable, unfinished. They began imagining outcomes without your consent, wondering how you would react, what you might say, whether this confession would bring you closer or end everything. That internal rehearsal is exhausting, and exhaustion brings honesty closer. The truth is, they've already crossed the emotional line internally. The confession is no longer about deciding whether to speak, it's about deciding when. And when feelings reach this stage, timing becomes emotional, not logical. That's why you feel something approaching. 3. Why your intuition knew before any words. Intuition doesn't need explanations. It reads emotional patterns. Your mind may have searched for evidence, but your intuition felt the emotional weight shift long before behavior made sense. You noticed the pauses, the careful wording, the moments that felt meaningful without explanation. This happens because emotional connections create an energetic feedback loop. When one person starts holding a powerful unspoken truth, the other feels the imbalance. That's why you felt drawn without knowing why. Why certain moments stayed with you. Why silence felt loud. Your intuition wasn't predicting, it was recognizing. They were emotionally arriving while verbally staying still. And your nervous system noticed the contradiction. This is also why ignoring intuition feels uncomfortable. It's not fear, it's misalignment. A sense that something real is happening beneath the surface. That's what brought you here. 4. What this confession will change forever. A confession doesn't just reveal feelings, it alters emotional structure. Once spoken, the connection can never return to what it was before. And they know that. This is why they hesitated. Confessing means vulnerability without armor. It means allowing you to decide the future of something they've protected quietly. This isn't impulsive, it's surrender. Whether the response is mutual or not, honesty reshapes the emotional dynamic. Tension dissolves, truth replaces uncertainty, and that transformation is irreversible. 5. Why the confession is finally coming now. Every emotional truth has a breaking point. Silence becomes heavier than fear. Holding back becomes more painful than risking everything. Something shifted inside them recently. A realization. An emotional overload. A moment where continuing to pretend felt dishonest. That's when timing aligned, not because circumstances are perfect, but because the truth demanded space. And your intuition felt that shift instantly. This confession is coming because it can no longer be contained. Final message. Some truths wait not because they are weak, but because they are powerful. When the confession comes, remember it was built through restraint, fear, hope, and emotional honesty. Whatever follows, the moment itself was real. Trust what you felt. You weren't wrong. If this spoke to your heart, like the video, so it reaches someone standing in emotional silence, comment what your intuition has been whispering, and subscribe for messages that uncover the truths feelings try to hide.